Welcome, everyone. My name is Mark Cruz, and I lead marketing for the Microsoft 365 Firstline business. First, thank you for choosing to be here today and for the opportunity to connect. I am excited to take you through a dynamic overview of the Firstline worker opportunity, providing you with first, a deeper understanding of the role of the Firstline worker and their impact on your organization. Second, an overview of the technology that empowers this workforce. And finally, inspiring stories of transformation from customers. Firstline workers are and have always been the backbone of the world economy, and this has become even more apparent in the face of a global pandemic. Firstline workers are the essential workers who have enabled hospitals to deliver critical care, staffed grocery stores, offered curbside pickup, and so much more. They are the ones out in the field, on the front lines, keeping essential services running. Firstline workers have the largest impact on how organizations respond to changing environments, enable business continuity, and reimagine productivity for our new normal. My very first job was on the front lines, working my way through college in the grocery business. I found that helping customers, even in very small ways, was super rewarding for me. But I was never at risk in the way that those on the front lines are today. It is hard to overstate the importance of the Firstline worker role. They are the first point of contact between an organization and the world it serves. They are the first to engage with customers and represent the company brand, and the first to see a company's products and services in action. And these are the moments that matter the most for your business. And yet, despite their importance, the Firstline workforce has historically been underserved by technology. As the world opens back up and your organization looks to retool and recover, it's time to step back and ask, now what? The answer starts with reimagining how you empower your Firstline workforce. For some inspiration, let's start with a quick video that profiles how several innovative companies are doing just that.
When COVID happened, we don't do a lot of virtual visits. It was really unique.
Team member engagement is the holy grail.
We did have to make the unfortunate decision to temporarily suspend our operations.
Our aim really is to deliver outstanding epilepsy care. Attending clinics for some families is a challenge, both in terms of time and cost.
The ability for a Firstline worker to be at a task, hands-free, reach out to an expert, and they can work through the problem together. And that saves a tremendous amount of time, eliminates travel, and resolves the problem more quickly.
Microsoft 365 provides our company of over 42,000 employees a common platform that enables collaboration with a unified experience.
Teams was transformative. It allowed us overnight to collaborate, challenge each other, and create protocols. It's allowed us to connect corporate right to the Firstline team member.
You feel more connected to your company.
It's given us collaboration abilities across the company that we never had before. It helped us set up our curbside service and get it up and running in 48 hours so that we can continue to serve our customers.
It enables me to deliver care to that family and to that child at their convenience.
As we progress beyond the current COVID-19 pandemic and start to get back to normal, we're going to keep rolling with this. So there's no reason to go back.
I feel what I can accomplish here has no limits.
Indeed, with the right technology, just about anything is possible. And to tell us more about what's possible, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Christina Baer. Christina leads the engineering team that develops for Microsoft's Firstline worker solution area. So welcome, Christina.
Thanks, Mark. I'm really glad to be part of the discussion today.
So Christina, we know that the Firstline workers are the backbone of most industries, and yet often overlooked in an organization's digital transformation plan. In turn, they experience technology gaps that impact their productivity, impacts their opportunities for collaboration, and all too often impacts the company's bottom line. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So you're so right. According to Forrester research, less than 25% of firstline workers say that they have the digital tools they need in order to do their jobs. And that's because firstline workers continue to work in legacy environments, slowed down by outdated tools and manual processes. In fact, a lot of the work today continues to happen on pen and paper. Technology has been so focused on evolving the tool set for your standard desk-based worker. And as a result, it's not uncommon for a firstline worker to feel disconnected from corporate headquarters. And when you look at what a firstline worker has to do today in order to be successful, the multiple devices, the multiple apps, it's no wonder that they're resorting to unsanctioned chat apps that put security and compliance at risk. We know we can do better. We need to do better. And we have the tools today that support this critical segment of your workforce.
So let's talk more about these tools and how they can help. We know that organizations are making really tough trade-offs on a daily basis, balancing between the need for business continuity on one hand, while also protecting employee health and safety on the other. In today's new normal, there are really three key trends that apply to all first-line roles. The first trend we see is the need for increased communication and community for all. This means keeping firstline workers informed and engaged and enabling employee safety, well-being, and business continuity. The second trend is that firstline workers are increasingly faced with unpredictable working conditions. Their schedules change, their priorities change, the compliance requirements change. Everything's changing more rapidly, which is really requiring increased responsiveness and agility and instant awareness of new practices and working conditions. Finally, in many cases, firstline workers must confront an acceleration of digitized processes and tools. They have to adapt to an increase in tech intensity as their companies digitize manual processes and drive operational efficiency. So really, firstline workers who already have a lot on their plates are being asked to just do more in less time. Christina, what are your thoughts on this?
I think that Microsoft 365 has such a great opportunity to help you manage through these trends. We hear from our firstline worker customers that they finally have the tools that they need in order to be successful. Forrester put out a total economic impact study that 101 hours was the average amount of time saved per firstline worker per year when given access to appropriate digital tools, and an 8% reduction in turnover rate. And from sources like Forbes, 83% of companies who empower their firstline workers see higher levels of customer satisfaction.
Clearly, there are some significant benefits to empowering the firstline workforce, especially when we consider all of the demands that are being placed on them today. Christina, let's spend a few minutes seeing the technology that can make their lives easier and help them be more productive.
Yeah, my favorite part, looking at products. So most firstline workers spend their day on the go and on their mobile devices. Teams provides a central place for firstline workers that is simple, secure, and all on one platform for your entire organization. The Teams mobile app is where and how firstline workers get their jobs done. It's a hub for notifications, communication, and collaboration. It has new communication tools like push to talk with WalkieTalkie, productivity tools like shifts to manage the schedules and tasks to manage the work. And it's still a platform that allows the creation and management of apps and workflows that your business relies on. We understand that all of your employees, from your CEO to your firstline worker, need super easy ways to communicate with chat, voice, video, and file sharing. And we have capabilities like targeting that allows users to message people based on their role or their skill, and that we understand it's super important to be able to message the right role at the right time. And that for shift-based workers, knowing who's working at any given moment can be challenging. So we have a new capability coming later this year for shift-powered tags so that firstline workers can message manager, and that message will be delivered to whomever is working at the moment. We also have messaging capabilities like priority notifications that pings the recipient every 2 minutes until the message is acknowledged. And also capabilities like secure image annotation that allows firstline workers to take, annotate, and share pictures in a secure and compliant platform.
Those are really cool capabilities. that are all around chat-based communications. But Christina, are we also innovating in the area of voice communications?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. A new communication capability releasing to general availability in Teams is WalkieTalkie. It's a push-to-talk experience that enables clear, instant, and secure voice communication over the cloud, turning an employee or company-owned Android smartphones or tablets into a walkie-talkie. This native built-in app in Teams reduces the number of devices employees must carry around, and it also reduces costs for IT. Customers who currently use analog radio devices, they no longer have to worry about crosstalk or eavesdropping from the outside. And it also doesn't have the limits of range of a radio. WalkieTalkie works over Wi-Fi or cellular data. And later in the session, we'll highlight the exciting WalkieTalkie integrations available with partner devices that provide purpose-built functionality for the Firstline Worker audience.
That is a great example of how we have extended the utility of Teams to voice-based communication. But what about providing broader access to information, especially in the always changing working conditions that we have today?
Yeah, so one of the new capabilities of Teams is the integration of Yammer Communities so that employees can stay connected, informed, and engaged. They can access critical messages, safety alerts, and live events all in one place. It creates a space for employees to ask questions and share knowledge across teams and departments.
So, Christina, we know that a high percentage of the Firstline workforce is shift-based. How is Teams making the complex world of shift-based scheduling simpler?
Shifts. So when I used to work in a department store eons ago, our schedules were pinned up in the back room on paper. Today, with shifts in Teams, Firstline managers can create, update, and distribute schedules digitally. Instead of needing to drive into a store to see a paper schedule, employees can view their upcoming shifts, see who else is scheduled for the day, and request to swap shifts or pick up open shifts, as well as request time off, all from their mobile device. A super important capability, particularly during COVID, when we need to be purposeful about in-person interactions. And Shifts has integrations with popular workforce management systems like Blue Yonder, Kronos, and Amion, so that your Firstline workers can take advantage of a simple user experience while also taking advantage of capabilities from our partners. Supervisors before Shifts were spending 50 to 75% of their time on scheduling. Now that's down to 20 to 30%.
Wow, so we are doing a lot of great things to help optimize schedules. Christina, what are we doing to support our Firstline workers, customers to optimize task completion and the process of getting approvals?
We are delighted to be releasing Task in Teams to general availability. It allows our Firstline workers to have one view of all of their work. We also know it's really important for corporate offices to be able to better communicate and work with their Firstline workforce. To support that, we have in preview a new capability of task publishing that lets companies create tasks at the corporate level and push those tasks to targeted teams across their Firstline workforce. So, for example, leadership at a nationwide retailer can create tasks for reopening their stores and send a list of only those affected store locations, and then track progress against the assigned tasks. Store managers, in turn, can easily assign tasks to individual employees, while Firstline workers can see a simple prioritized list of those tasks on their personal or company-issued mobile device. We're also so excited to announce approvals in Teams, making it easy to request, approve, or reject various asks in an experience that is as easy to use as chat. For example, a Firstline worker in manufacturing could request approvals that can confirm that a repair is completed correctly right from the chat conversation, and have that tracked as part of a broader workflow using Power Automate. All of these approvals, both formal and informal, across your systems will automatically show up in Teams. Approvals will be generally available in the coming months.
Wow, those are great examples of transforming core Firstline processes to get more done in less time. Christina, can you talk more about how we are integrating line of business applications directly into Teams?
So one of my favorite things about Teams is that it's a platform to create applications and workflows critical to your business. We have new capabilities around SharePoint lists in Teams that can serve as the foundation of your business processes. We can also streamline Firstline workflows with powerful line of business integrations with no and low code custom apps and custom workflow automations. Bots and power apps that allow you to take certain workflows like notifying during a curbside pickup or checking inventory and surface all of those things in a natural way in Teams. With integrations of line of business apps, Teams gives Firstline workers a single place to do all of their work so that they can be efficient and happy. So speaking of happy, we are living through weird and unprecedented times, and our Firstline workforce is so critical. We have such a great opportunity to applaud and recognize the job that they are doing. And doing so can go a really long way to improving their job satisfaction and promoting a really positive workplace culture. Now available, customizable praise badges open the possibility to promote your company's values and celebrate every success and foster a greater sense of camaraderie.
Now, let's take a look at how Teams has enabled one of our customers to take drastic actions to enable business continuity while keeping their Firstline employees safe.
Alcoa is all about safety, and one of our core values is care for people. We have a plant here on the east coast of Iceland. We were quick to understand that the virus could pose serious danger to our people, so we quickly reacted to that. We need to operate 24/7, but we obviously had to do drastic things in order to be able to continue our work. Teams is the communication tool we use at our plant to get internal message across to all of our workforce. The biggest thing we had to do was that we needed to totally segregate the shifts.
My team, it cannot be taken for granted that people would do something like this in such a short notice. We changed from 8-hour shifts to 12-hour shifts in 3 days. Having teams and shifts just made it possible, made it very, very easy.
We created a special COVID-19 channel. We had to create new rules around transporting, our cafeteria, around cleaning, making sure that people are cleaning all the surface that they touch between shifts. And we asked people to pin this channel to the top of their list to make sure that they wouldn't miss anything. We asked people to post videos or pictures and tell us what you're doing today, and people loved it. So we really just felt that there was a need to get the workforce together, and we decided let's try to do a town hall online and record it so it would be accessible to everybody. Teams was definitely not a small thing in responding with COVID. It was crucial. I don't know how we would have done it without it, really. At our plant, we haven't had a case, which we are just so grateful for, but there is no doubt in our mind that this is because we took such drastic actions. We really felt the responsibility of what we needed to do in order to protect our people. That's one thing to organizing and push it out, but then it's the people that are affected by it. I mean, those are the heroes, definitely.
Now, I was really hoping to join the film crew as an excuse to visit Iceland, which is on my bucket list, but that didn't happen, and maybe next time. But I do want to touch on one more area of innovation that's critical for your Firstline worker strategy, and that is integration with devices. The very nature of Firstline work, where the physical environment is often highly industry specific, can require a range of different devices. Now, these can be as simple as a general purpose phone or a tablet, or in other cases, an industry specific device such as a WalkieTalkie, or a wearable device that might be worn by a field service technician. Microsoft has been working with leading device manufacturers on a variety of custom device integrations. So Christina, can you show us a few of these examples?
Absolutely, Mark. Through a new integration between Teams and RealWear head-mounted devices, Firstline workers will be able to access information and communicate hands-free with remote experts from their job site. For example, workers at a Honeywell factory in Houston, Texas, are using Teams embedded into a variable computer from our partner, RealWare. Users can live stream what they see to remote colleagues and experts while having hands-free conversations. This has allowed them to continue production and complete critical factory testing, keeping engineers around the world engaged to ensure everything is built properly and they can sign off on certifications directly within Teams.
For the WalkieTalkie scenario, customers have a range of options to choose from, including wired and wireless solutions from Blue Parrot and Klein Electronics. So, I'm a device geek at heart, and I am so excited that we are announcing the general availability of the WalkieTalkie feature on this beautiful Samsung Galaxy Xcover Pro device. This provides dedicated push-to-talk hotkey right here, giving teams one-touch access to each other, even when the phone is locked. And because WalkieTalkie capability is natively built into Teams, it reduces the number of devices employees must carry, which of course lowers costs for IT. Wow, Christina, that was great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
In closing, I'd like to take what we've talked about today and tie it back to Microsoft's mission statement. Microsoft's mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Empowering firstline workers is at the core of Microsoft's mission. Firstline workers are both individuals with personal lives and critical organizational resources that need to achieve on behalf of their companies. Today, I hope we've given you a sense of how Microsoft is working really hard to empower firstline workers to improve both the quality and the quantity of their work, and how our firstline worker offering provides benefits to individual firstline workers themselves as well as their companies. Bringing new technology that serves the firstline worker community is and will continue to be a huge priority for Microsoft. As we conclude, here are a set of related sessions where you can learn more about digitally transforming your firstline workforce. Be sure to tune in, and thank you for joining us today.